Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am faculty from Nautical Science Department. Today, the session is for learning about celestial navigation. A topic of online capsule part 1 is going to be rising and setting of celestial body. We have learned in regular session of the college the highlights of learning what we have done during the semester include understanding of true and apparent motion of celestial body, principles of celestial navigation and its coordinate system, laws of planetary motion including Kepler's laws. We also learned about the various methods involved in position finding using the celestial navigation principles. And finally, we also learned, before closing of the college regular session, compass error calculation by observation of celestial body in 24 hours time. And this part 1 of the online capsule, you are going to learn in understanding causes for apparent rise and set of celestial body, and also the reasons for variation in daylight hours in various parts of the world, and the relationship is to be understood between observer's latitude and declination of celestial body, in this case the sun. And also with respect to sun, we are going to learn about twilight hours, both morning and evening, and how does it relate with respect to observer's latitude on the surface of Earth and the declination of sun. After having learned about part 1, then you will have to go through the part 2 online capsule, where you will be exposed to learn the calculations involved in finding sunrise and sunset time, compass error using nautical almanac, and also intricacies of quadrantal spherical triangle Napier rule for derivation of the formula for the same. Let us look at the causes of rising and setting of celestial body. We are all aware the 5 true motions which we have learned in regular session. One of the 5 motions is the true motion of Earth rotation on its axis from west to east. Consider if you are an observer positioned exactly on top of the North Pole, then your zenith will coincide with the North Pole, that is celestial North Pole. For you, when you view from the zenith, all celestial body will appear to describe an east to west motion around the Earth, which is an apparent motion for you, along a circular path around the celestial North Pole. These bodies then called circumpolar body. We also need to keep in mind what we have learned in the regular session, rising of celestial body and gradual increase in altitude till it culminates when the sun passes the observer's zenith. Thereafter, altitude continued decreasing and the celestial body sets on the west coast. Now, coming specific to this particular condition, before going to the condition, let's see the general celestial sphere. Earth picture is there in the center. You have the North Pole, zenith and nadir, where observer is located. Right over him is the zenith and 180 degree away is nadir. If this is the North Pole, then celestial North Pole is here and celestial South Pole is down. Now, you are seeing the maroon color circle, which is describing the celestial horizon from zenith, which is 90 degree. And you have the celestial equator, which is 90 degree from North Pole and South Pole. Another picture. Now you see the Earth is here, North Pole and celestial North Pole. South Pole, celestial South Pole. You have celestial equator. And all stars, I have shown it for you to understand. Now assume you are on top of the North Pole. Then your zenith is going to coincide with the North Celestial Pole. While your zenith is at the North Celestial Pole, maximum you can see is 90 degree. From zenith 90 degree, we know it is the celestial horizon. And in this case, we also know that from north pole 90 degree is celestial equator. So when observer is at the celestial north pole, you are able to see the from zenith celestial horizon, and which is nothing but in this case celestial equator. Now if you are at the celestial north pole, that is zenith is coinciding with the celestial north pole, then all celestial bodies which you see here, the night sky where stars are describing a circular arc. Because Earth is rotating west to east, you find celestial body rotating east to west, the apparent motion. You will be able to see these celestial bodies which are having north declination. So 0 degree to 90 degree north declination, you will be able to observe in the night time all stars. These bodies are called circumpolar body. But you won't be able to see any celestial body which are having south declination. So I have put it in the slide for you to understand. Observer is situated over the north pole. Then his zenith coincide with the celestial north pole. His celestial horizon coincide with the equinoctial. So a celestial body with a 0 declination would appear to the observer to move along a celestial horizon, completing a circle in exactly the same period as the Earth completes a rotation of 360 degree around this axis. So you are going to see a celestial body with a north declination would move along a circle maintaining a constant altitude equal to its declination. And it would remain above the horizon at all time. That is why they are called circumpolar body. Now you have to understand here, declination circle is a small circle. In this case, his altitude will not be less or more than the declination because you are viewing the celestial body right from the celestial north pole. Altitude is from celestial horizon to the zenith. So the body will be circling around the declination circle. So altitude will remain always, which is the value of declination. And also, as I said in the previous slide, a celestial body with a south declination would remain always below the celestial horizon, in this case celestial equator, hence it would not be visible. Same circumpolar bodies, circumpolar stars, I have highlighted here with an animation. With this animation, you will be able to appreciate it better. You see here, observer is located right over the north pole. His zenith is coinciding with the celestial north pole. And the equinoctial is coinciding with the celestial horizon. So the celestial body which is having north declination describing a circular motion from east to west along the declination circle, the altitude of this will remain, which is the value of declination. And this celestial body which is having north declination, you will be able to see it entire 24 hours duration. Whereas the celestial body which is having south declination, you will not be able to see. There are 2 points you have to understand here. The altitude will remain always equal to declination value. Second, you see only the north declination celestial body. The reason is your north pole and zenith, that is celestial north pole and zenith is coincided, and your celestial horizon and equator both are coinciding. Come to the next. Now you take a situation, 90 degree from the celestial north pole, you have come on the equator, that is from pole to the equator. So celestial horizon would be the plane of Earth axis. You are now on top of the equator. You are able to see the Earth axis from north to south. So here what will happen? The equinoctial and all declination will be bisected at right angle by the celestial horizon. That is, if you imagine a circle drawn from a zenith, which is 90 degree, that circle will cut all declination circle and the equinoctial at right angles. When I show the picture, it will be further clear. Since observer is at the equator and his zenith is located right above it, you are able to see the north and south pole. So all celestial body, whether having north or south declination or zero declination, will remain above the celestial horizon for exactly half the day and below the celestial horizon for remaining half. All celestial body will rise and set perpendicular to the celestial horizon in this situation. Now you see this. Observer is at the equator. A zenith is overhead. And you are able to have the celestial horizon, which is 90 degree from zenith. This celestial horizon is passing through North Pole and South Pole. This is the axis of Earth. Now you see the equinoctial cutting it at 90 degree to celestial horizon. And also declination circle cutting it exactly at 90 degree to the celestial horizon. Now you see the animation. Now when an observer is on the equator, you will be able to see all celestial bodies, whether it is zero declination or north declination or south declination, rising above the celestial horizon, remaining above the horizon and setting at the celestial horizon exactly half of the day. Balance of the time, it would remain below the celestial horizon. So 2 points are to be understood. While rising from the celestial horizon and setting, it is going to intersect at 90 degree. Second, it is going to remain exactly half of the period of the day above the horizon, half of the period below the horizon. Now let's come to the next situation. To an observer which is neither at the equator nor at the pole, which would be generally the situation, the ships would not be at the equator or the North Pole or South Pole, but somewhere in the ocean. Now what happens? Let's take an example of northern hemisphere. Observer with the north latitude. The north celestial pole will be between the zenith and his celestial horizon. That you should be able to appreciate it. We have already seen the diagrams in the regular session. Celestial horizon will bisect the equinoctial at its east and west point. A celestial body with a zero declination, I repeat, a celestial body with a zero declination alone would be above the horizon for exactly half the day and below the horizon for balance of the hour. But any celestial body which is having any other values of declination, the time of it remaining above the horizon or below the horizon differ. Arc of declination circle lying above the horizon will increase as the declination increases for celestial body with a north declination, because observer in this case is at the north latitude. Same name of latitude and declination. Such bodies will remain above the horizon for larger period. So what you have to understand? If you are operating in the northern hemisphere, celestial body also having a north declination, both are same name, you will see this celestial body. If you take a sun with a north declination, you are operating in the northern hemisphere, you will see this celestial body sun for longer duration above the horizon and below the horizon for shorter duration. Now come to the second point. If the celestial body having declination with opposite name to observer's latitude, here celestial body with a south declination. So the arc of declination circle lying above the horizon will reduce as the declination increases for celestial body with the south declination, because the name is different. Now you see this case. Observer in the northern hemisphere, say at Europe, axis of Earth is there. You have got the zenith here and you have celestial horizon. Now you see this, a celestial body with a north declination, the declination circle arc is above the horizon for longer duration. If you take it as an example of the sun, you will be able to see the sun for longer duration above the horizon. That means what? Your daylight hours is going to be more, less night hours. Come to the celestial body with a zero declination. It will remain above the horizon for exactly half the period, below the horizon for balance of the period. That is 12 hours, 12 hours. But now you come to the celestial body with a south declination. The arc of the declination circle remaining above the horizon is very short, and below the horizon longer time. We have different name compared to observer's latitude. So if you take sun with a south declination while you are operating in the northern hemisphere, you will be able to see the daylight hours only for shorter time, or the sun will be shorter time only available above the horizon and remain below the horizon for longer time. Now you see the animation here too. See, the sun with a north declination will remain above the horizon for longer duration. So you will have longer day and shorter night. If sun is having south declination, it will remain above the horizon for shorter duration. So shorter day, longer night. Now come to the next. For a stationary observer, interval between rising and transition over observer's meridian of a celestial body will be always equal to interval between transition over the observer's meridian to the setting, provided its declination remain unchanged. What does that mean? We have learned earlier, celestial body rises in the east, it continues rising the altitude and reaches the observer's zenith. This duration between rising and reaching the observer's zenith, if we take suppose 6 hours, then from observer's zenith or the meridian passage till reaches to set on the west will be again 6 hours. That is the meaning of it. If the observer's latitude increases, what happens? You are going closer to one pole. That means, in other words, pole is coming towards the zenith. Angle at which equinoctial intersect its rational horizon or the celestial horizon will then reduce. I will show the picture again, it will be clearer. So the major part of the declination circle of the celestial body with a north declination, here since the observer is also northern hemisphere, north latitude, would lie above the horizon and smaller arc below it, as we have seen in the previous animation. Bodies with the north declination would therefore remain above the horizon for greater part of the day and rise and set northward of the east and west point. Declination circle of celestial body with a southerly declination, that is the opposite name to observer's latitude, will lie with a major arc of the declination circle below the horizon and minor arc of the declination circle above the horizon. That is what we have seen in the previous animation. Such celestial bodies, in case if you take the sun, would therefore remain above the horizon only for smaller part of the day. That is the reason you have shorter day. When the sun declination is south, you are operating in the northern hemisphere, vice versa. So they would appear to rise and set bearing southward of observer east-west point because the declination is south. So what we have to learn? If the south declination of celestial body is large enough, then the declination circle would lie entirely below the celestial horizon. Celestial body will not be visible during any part of the day. Thus, a period of time a celestial body remain above the horizon during the day is solely depend on what is your latitude, shift latitude, as well as what is the value of declination. It is not only numerical value or absolute value, and the direction of latitude and declination. If both are same name, you are going to have him visible for longer duration in that hemisphere where you are operating. If it is different name and values are different, then we have to work out how much time you are going to see him above the horizon, how much time it is going to be below the horizon. So, let's sum it up. Whatever we have seen, all three animations, I have shown you in the slide here. And also the basic of celestial sphere I have shown, which you can refer the book and understand further. We have in the regular session also have learned declination of sun varies between 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degree south. That is, sun is above the horizon during day and below the horizon during night also we have learned. When sun declination is north, for an observer with a north latitude, suppose you are operating in the northern hemisphere, from the lesson what we have learned in the previous slide, automatically sun is going to be seen above the horizon for more than 12 hours because the larger arc of the declination circle going to remain above the celestial horizon as you are operating in the northern hemisphere. And less than 12 hours for observers with the south latitude is a vice versa condition. Thus, if the sun is having north declination, you are operating in the northern hemisphere, you will have longer day, shorter night. Suppose sun declination is south, you are in the northern hemisphere, you are going to have shorter day, longer night. So, from this mathematically, if I have to put it on, if observer's latitude or the ship latitude and sun declination is the same name, then the sun would be a circumpolar body. That is, you are going to see the sun 24 hours. That is, entire declination circle will remain above the horizon. If you take the absolute value of latitude and declination, if you add it up, if it is equal to 90 degree or more than 90 degree. Suppose, say example, we will come to the example a little later. So, what will happen? The sun will be available 24 hours. So, there will be continuous day and there will be no night because sun is not going to set below the horizon. So, sun would become circumpolar if observer lat and declination is equal to 90 or greater than 90. Now, we have seen maximum declination for sun is 23.5 degree north or south. Suppose you take 23.5 degree north. That is summer solstice occurring around June 21st. Observer latitude, say your ship is operating near 66 degree and half north, would experience this phenomena. That is what? Sun will remain above the horizon throughout the day. That is why you call it as midnight sun. I mean, even midnight, there will be no night. 24 hours you are going to see. Vice versa, if you say, if the observer is, sun is having declination north 23.5 degree, if your ship is operating at 66 degrees south latitude, what will happen? You will have continuous night because sun would remain below the observer's celestial horizon during the 24 hours. This we have seen how in the previous semester, what are the equinox and solstice, summer and winter solstice, how the declination of sun differs from the true motion of earth going around the sun and how it is interpreted for you to sun moving a vertical motion along the declination value. So, this sunrise and sunset, rising and setting body, I am taking the sun. Theoretically, sunrise and sunset will occur only when true sun center is on the observer's rational horizon or celestial horizon. So, when assume the true sun is at the celestial horizon, what will be the altitude we have learned? It will be 0. If altitude is 0, what will be the true zenith distance? it is 90 degree. So P is the spherical triangle, what we have learned. This particular side, that is Zx, will be 90 degree. Now, there are other phenomena we have learned earlier too. Now, you see the condition. What is the sun position? When sun is below the horizon, that is the celestial horizon, it is still not rising. For theoretical rising, it has to be at the horizon. It is below the horizon itself. When the sun rays come towards the atmospheric condition, it is going to get deviated and come and falls on observer's eye. For you, it looks sun is here. This is the apparent position of the sun. You know this phenomena we have learned while learning section altitude to true altitude. So this particular condition is creating for us to believe sun is already above, but actual position of sun is below the horizon. Which horizon? Celestial horizon. So when theoretical sunrise to occur, true sun should be at the horizon, that is celestial horizon, not the visible horizon. So now come to the visible sunrise and sunset. When the sun, true sun is at the celestial horizon, it will appear for you the visible sun is above the horizon. That is visible horizon also. In this case, the true altitude is not 0 because you have already seen him above. Assuming observer at sea level, then true altitude of sun at visible sunrise will be 0 degree to 50 minutes. That is, sun had been below the horizon only. Almost a degree. Because of it, visible sunrise occurs before the theoretical sunrise and visible sunset occur after the theoretical sunset. Nautical Almanac talks about visible sunrise and sunset time. So now come to the second topic, twilight. So twilight is interconnected with the rising and setting of sun. What is twilight? Twilight is the light received from the sun when the sun is below the celestial horizon. That is before the sunrise in the morning, after the sunset in the evening. The light received from the sun when sun is below the horizon, it illuminates the upper layer of the atmosphere. Part of the light is reflected and scattered in various directions. The scattered light illuminates the earth's surface for some time before the sun comes out above the horizon. So this period, I want you to understand, if observer is here, for you there is the zenith, there is the visible horizon. Now it is shown here, the east, at this side is west, don't get confused. When the sun is below the horizon, say 18 degree, you will start receiving the light little bit. When it is 12 degree, you will have some more light visible. Another 6 degree, when it comes below the horizon, more light, sunlight will be visible. When the sun comes, as you call it as visible sunrise. Vice versa, when sun goes and set, sun goes down below the horizon, sunlight up to 6 degrees, sunlight will be visible for more dominating. And when it goes below 12 degree, sunlight gradually reduces further and night sets in. When it goes up to 18 degree, you find sunlight is completely gone, full night has set in. Now this situation, if I have to describe, I will show this picture. Now you see, this is with respect to our celestial horizon. So what are the conditions of this twilight? There are 3 twilight periods. When sunrise occurs in the east, when sun is below the 18 degree, till it comes to 0 degree, you have the entire period is called twilight in the morning. This entire period is called twilight in the evening. So between 18 degree to 12 degree, you call it as astronomical twilight. What are the specific conditions here? Sunlight or the eastern sky is getting lit up, but your stars are visible. But the horizon is not very clear, except some part of the eastern horizon will be visible. Between 18 degree to 12 degree, when sun is below the celestial horizon, Now the advantage is here, almost all part of the celestial horizon will be visible because the scattered light of the sun is lighting up the sky. And also the bright stars are visible. So this is the time we make use of it for measuring the altitude of star. So this twilight is named nautical twilight. Then come when sun is 6 degrees below the celestial horizon. Now sunlight illumination is very strong, intensity is very high, stars start fading and your horizon become absolutely clear. So this period, intervening period, still sun rises and sun is below the 6 degree from the horizon. This period is called civil twilight. You cannot make use of it for your observation of star because stars illumination will not be available. Vice versa, when sun sets, first 6 degree, it is called civil twilight. From 6 to 12 degree, it is called nautical twilight, and 12 to 18 degree, it is called astronomical twilight. Once again, when sun is 12 to 18 degree, you call it as 6 to 12 degree, you call it as nautical twilight. This is the time you will be having horizon visible and also stars start appearing. You can make use of it for observation of stars. So, twilight completely ceases in the evening when the sun is below the celestial horizon. After that, total darkness occurs. Twilight commences in the morning when the sun is 18 degrees below the celestial horizon and ceases with the sunrise. There are 3 stages we have seen: civil twilight, nautical twilight, astronomical twilight. Now, this is the picture for you to appreciate the South America and North America is seen. This line, it shows that sun is above the horizon. That is the daylight hours here. This position between the 6 degree to your 0 degree, that is called civil twilight. Here the condition is sunlight will be very powerful, but horizon will be clear, but stars will not be visible. This period between 6 and 12 degree, you are going to have horizon clearer and stars are also visible. So you call it nautical twilight. It is most suitable for observation of stars and planet. When the sun is below the celestial horizon 18 degree and 12 degree belt, this is called astronomical twilight. And below this side, sunlight is not there, it is total night time. Twilight in lower latitude and twilight belt is shorter arc. Now let's take what we have seen in the previous animation. Suppose your zenith is here, there is the elevated pole, north, east and west. That is the observer-centric rational horizon diagram. You have from zenith to the celestial horizon 90 degree. If I draw 6 degree arc from below the celestial horizon, you have this particular circle. So between this to here, you have civil twilight. Another 12 degree circle if you draw below the celestial horizon, then you have nautical twilight circle. 18 degree circle you draw, you have astronomical twilight circle. Now what happens? If the sun is going to have a north latitude, north declination and crosses from here to here, and you are also having north declination because north pole is elevated. What happens? The declination circle, the arc of the declination circle crossing between 18 degree below the horizon up to the celestial horizon, this intervening period of twilight, it is going to take longer time to cross because the arc is more there. So you have longer period of twilight when you are in the higher latitude. Similarly, in the evening, after the sun is set, sun is going to take longer time to travel this longer arc of the declination circle. So you are going to have longer twilight. But if you take an example, if the sun is at the equator belt and it is going to cross the shorter time. So the twilight in the sun having lesser declination or lesser value of declination, it is going to be lesser period of twilight. Now if I sum it up, twilight is possible only when sun is below the horizon. For continuous twilight throughout the night, observer latitude and sun declination should be of same name, and limiting latitudes are, if I have to put it arithmetically, when both are same name, latitude plus declination should be less than 90 degrees so that sun will set. Because sun has to set, only then twilight occurs. If sun is above the horizon, 24 hours, a total day. Below the horizon, 24 hours, total night. Intervening one, sun sets. So sunset, that is the condition. Now, if you take latitude plus declination, that 18 degree twilight angle add up. If it is greater than 90 degree or equal to 90 degree, this twilight belt will remain even though sun has set below the horizon. Night has commenced for you practically, but sun will not go below the twilight belt. So throughout the night you are going to have sunlight visible, which will be ideal while operating in the higher latitude for you to observe the sun, that is the stars, not sun. With the aid of sunlight, you are going to see the horizon, and also stars are also visible. You can observe the stars' altitude. With this, we complete the part 1. And having understood this, please kindly read up the chapter on rising and setting of celestial body from Principles of Navigation. And after that, you may go into part 2 of the online capsule. Thank you. Have a great day.